Welcome to CarShield Field. Shane Holsey, Will Connerly, and the Cornbelters taking on the Gems. Mason Palmier, the Missouri Baptist right-hander, toes the rubber. He'll be throwing to Braden Spar. Kyle Franklin is at third base. Josh Gibson at short. Tate Wargo at second. Gage Cruz at first. Ryan Malzahn, Jack Rigoni, and Tyler Fogarty in the outfield. The lineup for the Cornbelters, leading off Jake Berger, the designated hitter. Then to follow is DJ Schmidt, the center fielder. Kyle Vance, the first baseman. Josh Cook, the catcher. Brandon Olean, the left fielder. Drew Mize, the second baseman. Brett Pearson, the shortstop. Desmond Woods, the right fielder. And Will Menendez, the third baseman. As we're getting ready to start things underway, Shane Holsey, Will Connerly here on CarShield Collegiate League TV. We got a triple header for you today. 3 games on tap the next 3 days. And Jake Berger leading things off to start this parade of baseball that we're going to see these next 3 games. And we were talking about this before the game. Not the conventional leadoff hitter, but you look at guys like George Springer who can put the ball out of the ballpark. That's something this guy can do. He's been off to a good start in the CarShield Collegiate League. Had 3 knocks the other night. As we're getting ready to be underway against Mason Palmier, getting ready to deliver the first pitch of this game, they put a shift on the former first-round draft pick, and he's a first pitch swinging, fouling it out of play, and we're underway. First pitch time is 11:49, a little earlier than expected here at CarShield Field. We were scheduled for 12, but a bit earlier for you guys. We were so anxious to get some baseball underway, and that's what we do here. The second pitch to Berger is fouled away to the right side, so Palmier ahead 0-2. To the count to the White Sox prospect Jake Berger. Shane, it's great to be back with you in the booth, and we're going to get a lot of each other these next 3 days. A triple header action. It'll be fun. The 0-2 pitch, a swing and a miss, and Palmier starts things off with the strikeout. They throw it around the horn, and Palmier retires Berger on 3 pitches. Now coming to the box, DJ Schmidt hitting second in the order today as he takes that pitch low for the first ball. Braden Spar, the catcher today, one of 4 SEMO catchers in this league. But DJ Schmidt hitting second in the order. He's been pretty impressive so far this season. He's playing center field today. Tate Matheny with the day off for Joey Hawkins as that pitch is fouled back to the screen. Cornbelters getting this early action here. Game moved up a little bit, but the weather is nice, a little hot, but that's just what we like here for summer baseball on that turf, even a little hotter. As Palmier delivers the 1-1 pitch, a little inside. DJ Schmidt's got to get out of the way on the breaking ball. That scoots inside on the left-hander. Schmidt grounds that one back. Mason Palmier has had an interesting story. He started at Parkway South, and then he went to Swick. Then he transferred to Hutchinson. Now he's been at Missouri Baptist the past couple of seasons, and he's really excelled on the mound. He's been a big part out of the bullpen his first year, and he's a big part of that rotation this year. He's had some great performances on the mound so far in his career, and he still has some more innings left in that arm. His career at MoBap, he has a sub-3 earned run average, a 2.93, 72 strikeouts in 73 innings. He's effective, he's efficient on the mound, and he was efficient a few summers back. He played in the Metro League for the Dodgers, who went 33-1 and won the league. He was a part of that pitching rotation. Features a low 90s fastball. He was off to a good start in 2020. As the breaking ball misses upstairs to DJ Schmidt. He had 21 strikeouts just to 9 walks and had a 2.49 earned run average in the shortened season for the Spartans, a 1-2 whip in 25 innings. And held opponents to hitting just .226 against him, but DJ Schmidt smacks a hit to the left side there. Schmidt comes on, and he's going to try to take second. Aggressive base running pays off. He ate his Wheaties this morning, Shane. You talked about that yesterday. A good cup of coffee for the Cornbelters as they already have a runner in scoring position for somebody who's been a really good hitter this summer, somebody we haven't talked about a ton, sandwiched in the middle of the order behind Jake Berger and Tate Matheny. But Kyle Vance has been tearing it up.
He's just been chugging right along, getting himself a base hit or two every ball game, driving in a couple of runs. If we remember the very first game, he was the one that drove in the first 2 runs of this league in the summer, so he announced his presence early. And we haven't really talked about him just because of the big names we've seen come into this league, but he's really been steady Eddie for this Cornbelter squad.
Steady Eddie indeed as Kyle Vance comes up with 1 on in scoring position. An RBI opportunity with 1 out. He takes the first pitch for a strike from Palmier. We mentioned Shane Holsey and Will Connerly, but also Charlie Bornoff back with us as always. Hasn't missed a game yet, working hard, but he cut it close today, coming in the nick of time. But he's here for you guys. A ball and a strike with 1 out to Kyle Vance.
At least he gave us a heads up.
Amen to that. We didn't get too much of a heads up about Kyle Vance, how good he would be this summer. From Tiffin University, hitting in the 3-hole for Joey Hawkins. He was tearing it up at Tiffin as well, so I guess that was our heads up as he fouls that one off to the right side. A ball and 2 strikes with 1 out.
Maybe we should have expected it.
But expect the unexpected. But Kyle Vance in 2020 was hitting .391 in 11 games. He had 10 runs batted in. And 46 at-bats, had those 10 RBIs. An RBI opportunity here. He hits it to the left side. Coming up on it, no tag. Advancing to third on the ground ball is DJ Schmidt. On the ground out to the third baseman, Kyle Franklin. Makes a nice play. He tried to put the tag on DJ Schmidt, but he advances 90 feet. But now there's 2 away as Josh Cook comes to the plate.
And now the importance of Schmidt taking that extra base. Now he moves up to third with 2 away. Now he can score on a wild pitch, a pass ball. That can prove to be big here in the early innings here with 2 away. Yeah, it's nice to just be in scoring position, but third base is always better than second.
2 is always better than 1, they say. So he moves a little forward. At least that's what the rumor has. As Mason Palmier gets that pitch over for a strike. Pumping strikes today. He hasn't needed much time to settle in. We mentioned his great statistics for the Spartans. He features a fastball that he likes to use a lot. He gets ahead early with it in the strike zone, and he likes putting guys away with it as well. He offsets guys with a nice breaking ball, and his changeup command has gotten better the past few seasons, why he's been able to be in the rotation. He thought he had strike 3 right there. He took a couple steps toward the dugout, but had to pump the brakes. It just missed a bit outside, a ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. The 1-2 offering. There's a breaking ball, misses outside. 2-2 count. Josh Cook, the catcher, at the plate, trying to get a 2-out RBI with DJ Schmidt at third base. Mason Palmier already this inning facing a couple of his teammates, DJ Schmidt and Josh Cook, all at Missouri Baptist. He fans one there and strands a runner at third base. No score. Send it to the bottom of the first. Bottom of the first, as Cole Schrader takes the mound for the Cornbelters. He'll be throwing to Josh Cook. The starting catcher, Will Menendez, is at third base. Brett Pearson at short. Drew Mize at second. Kyle Vance at first. Brandon Olean and left. DJ Schmidt in center. And Desmond Woods in right field. Against the Gems starting lineup, their order goes as follows. Josh Gibson leads off and plays shortstop. Tate Wargo, the second baseman, hits second. Tyler Fogarty, the three-hole in right field. Gage Cruz at first base, hitting fourth. Tommy Woods, the designated hitter, hits fifth. Ryan Malzahn hits sixth and plays left field. Jack Rigoni in center, hitting seventh. Braden Spar, the catcher, hitting eighth. And to round out the lineup, playing third base, Kyle Franklin. And the starting pitcher for the Gems last inning threw a clean top of the first, Mason Palmier. And now the bottom of the first, Cole Schrader will face off against the Gems order. Cole Schrader, 10 innings this summer, making his fourth start of the summer this afternoon. He surrendered 8 earned runs for an ERA of 5.60. 15 strikeouts, though, in those 10 innings. He's shown great stuff. 15 strikeouts to 12 walks. He's 0-2 on the summer, making his fourth start. Throwing 10 innings in those 3 prior starts, and he faces off against Josh Gibson, the Jefferson College infielder. The first pitch missed low. And what do you want to see out of Schrader today? We've seen his strikeout stuff many times be very relevant to these hitters, and we've seen when his stuff plays in the zone, he's very, very hard to square up.
We've seen early, it's really been early, like in the first or second inning, he's just struggled with the walks, the 12 walks in 10 innings. He's got to cut that back. I know that's kind of an obvious stat. I mean, yeah, he's racked up the strikeouts with 15 strikeouts. Maybe try to, I mean, you want to get an out any way you can get it, but if you can pitch to contact a little more, maybe let him put the ball in play. That'll bring his pitch count down a little bit, bring the walks down. He might give up a few more hits, but you don't want to surrender free passes. You'd rather them try to put the ball in play, let him get on that way, than giving him a free pass.
And it's understandable for the southpaw, who didn't log any innings at Missouri State this past spring, a graduate of CBC High School, as he gets a swing and a miss right there from Gibson. So it seems as though he hadn't had much at all of any game action for a couple years, and what seems to go may not be your stuff when you compete in bullpens, but it may be that command sometimes, hitting in game situations. But the 6'1", 180-pound left-hander has a ton of promise coming out of that left arm. The first batter reaches on the walk, Josh Gibson. It was a full count, but eventually lost the leadoff hitter. That brings up Tate Wargo.
Like you said, when you haven't thrown in a while, the last thing to come is usually that command. The velocity is going to come just from your off-season training, your weightlifting, your cardio, all that stuff. It's all going to, your velocity is going to come, but when you actually get on an actual game mound, it's a little different than, say, throwing in a batting cage or something where it's a little more narrow. You can kind of tunnel everything instead of being out in the open on this mound. It's a little different. It's a little different psychologically, not really physically. It's still 60 feet 6 inches. You're still throwing to a catcher and a hitter, and really that can be an issue too when you're throwing in a batting cage or throwing bullpens or whatever. You're not facing actual hitters. That's just a psychological thing. That's another thing in your line of vision that you have to focus on. But you really just have to tunnel and just play catch with the catcher. That's what they talk about. Just play catch. The batter's not even really there. You got it. I mean, the batter's there, but in your mind, the batter's not really there. You're just trying to make pitches.
Schrader tries to make a pitch on a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Tate Wargo. He gets a swing and a miss. And we mentioned with Schrader, the CBC High School graduate from Forestell, Missouri. He was ranked as the top prep left-hander in Missouri by PBR and Perfect Game. He was back-to-back All-Metro Catholic Conference selections before missing his senior season due to injury. He gets a strikeout right there of Tate Wargo, so 1 away and 1 on, and Tyler Fogarty comes to the box. But mentioned that he had a couple of those all-conference recognitions, but missed your senior season at CBC, and then this past spring didn't log any innings in the shortened season at Missouri State. So you really can only go and look back to his junior year as the last season-type atmosphere that he was able to compete in, besides any summer baseball that he may have done as he prepares to go back to Missouri State. The southpaw has a ton of promise in that arm. We've seen that breaking ball fool a lot of hitters as he has racked up the strikeouts this summer. Already has one today after getting the second hitter in the lineup for the Gems, Tate Wargo looking. He went 4-3 with a 1.25 earned run average his junior year. And you mentioned that strikeout stuff. He struck out 19 hitters in a game during his junior year, Shane. And he goes for the pickoff, but stealing the bases, Josh Gibson. Kyle Vance threw it down, but Gibson was there in time. That stolen base is brought to you by the O'Fallon Family YMCA for youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility.
And we know the strikeout stuff is there. He's shown it this summer, but again, it's just getting your command under control. It's the last thing to come with pitchers you see out of spring training in the major leagues even. That command is the last thing to come. You have your stuff. You have the velocity. It's just putting it all together and limiting free passes.
And he's someone who's still an underclassman at the Division I level. He's obviously looking still for some more velocity because that's, of course, what you need if you want to make it to the next level. And it's interesting to see is sometimes guys at the next level get peaks in velocity. Look at a pitcher like Mike Clevinger, who in his career went from a low mid-90s guy to a mid to can peak at the upper 90s guy by just making a tweak in his mechanics. So I feel like the pitchers are always looking in off seasons to try to optimize their mechanics and strength to be able to get an uptick in velocity. But like you mentioned, when you're trying to refine your repertoire and arsenal within the zone, it's something to focus on in a game setting like this, like that command says. But also, I think that you can get that in-game velocity can also show how a pitcher can project in the future of how his stuff is playing in the zone, and this stuff is obviously there.
And in a game setting, you're not going to focus on your mechanics all that much. Yeah, you might make slight adjustments here and there, but you're not making drastic adjustments. Schmidt catches that fly ball in center field for out number 2. But the time for adjusting your mechanics comes in your bullpens, that comes in your off-season training. Once you get in the game, you can't really focus on your mechanics all too much. You might maybe you're opening up maybe a little too soon. Maybe you can feel that. Maybe your arm's dropping a little bit. But you're not going to make drastic adjustments in game. There's little adjustments here and there to try to refine your control or maybe throw a pitch a couple of more times to get the feel for it early in the game when you're still feeling your stuff out. But you're not going to make huge adjustments during the game. That's really for your off-season training and your bullpens in between games.
The ball scoots away from the catcher, Josh Cook, and Josh Gibson will score the first run of this ball game. So the pass ball allows Josh Gibson to come around for the first run of the game. As Gage Cruz in the box, he's homered 2 times in the past couple days. One of them was that grand slam that helped the Gems to victory yesterday.
And both times he's hit home runs immediately after. We've had some rain. He's literally and figuratively brought the rain. Old Josh Donaldson might have a contender for stealing his nickname.
And he gets some when he's at the plate. A healthy hack on the first offering. He takes that pitch for a strike, a ball, and 2 strikes to the slugger from Western Illinois. The pitch. And he gets looking on the breaking ball. Nice stuff from Schrader, but one comes across 1-0 after 1. Gems on top. This inning's brought to you by Interco Recycling. Interco's been recycling non-ferrous industrial metals, batteries, computers, and electronics since 1996. They operate a 400,000 square foot, 45-acre facility on the Illinois side of downtown St. Louis. So if your company's got large amounts of scrap metals, batteries, computers, electronics, anything to recycle, they can call Interco Recycling 1-877-258-3601 or go to the web, www.itcscrap.com. Interco Recycling, a Melotronics recycler since 1996. Brandon Olean, Drew Mize, and Brett Pearson do up. Olean's hits it to the right side. Wargo throws it over to Cruz at first, and a quick first out for Mason Palmier.
See a tale of kind of two different pitchers here. Palmier, more of the pitch-to-contact guy, get a lot of ground balls, and he's gonna get his strikeouts, but Schrader's more that electric stuff, that electric big overhand breaking ball. Palmier is more of the pitch down in the zone type of guy. They're similar in velocity, but Palmier more that sinking action. Schrader more the running two-seam action on the left-handed fastball. So, and he's gonna work. Schrader's gonna work more up in the zone. Palmier more down in the zone.
Very good point. Similar velocities, but when you work up in the zone, that perceived velocity is much higher. When you get a sinker baller throwing 90, opposed to somebody who really climbs the ladder every time, throwing 90, and it's flatter, and it has, with fastballs, the metric sometimes they look at is the vertical break that it has, and how negative it is how straight or how flat it can be. And you can look at the spin rate and look at how the ball comes out of someone's hand. And Palmier, it seems like, just from the naked eye, has a lower spin rate because the ball spins and it moves. But when he's still throwing at that velocity, that's why he gets so many ground balls, as that ball's roped foul to the right side. After Drew Mize gets a single on the infield, Tate Wargo stopped it from going to the outfield, but couldn't make the play to throw it across the diamond. That was an old diamond cutter right up the middle for the single.
And you see guys like, say, Jordan Hicks. Like he throws in the low 100s, but he doesn't get a lot of strikeouts because his ball moves down. So when the hitters are swinging at it, they're not necessarily swinging and missing. They're just beating it into the ground. He gets outs. He doesn't necessarily need to get the strikeouts. Yeah, he throws 103 miles an hour, and it moves a foot, but that doesn't mean they're going to swing and miss at it. Those major league hitters are the best hitters in the world. They're going to make contact, but when you have sinking action like that, yeah, you can adjust for it, but when you start your swing, it takes a little longer for your brain to adjust. Hey, I have to swing a little lower on this ball to get it elevated. By the time you realize that, it's too late, and you just beat it into the ground.
And there's so much data. Every single pitch, the metrics come out. I mean, the defense could shift on every pitch based on the probability of what a hitter will do in each count. A 3-1 count right there, maybe he's going with an inside fastball. Maybe the defense wants to adjust to pull the ball. Or now in a 3-2 count, or now in a different count, something could be different, as it's 3 balls and 2 strikes to the left-handed swinging shortstop, Brett Pearson, with a runner on first and 1 away. So ball's fouled back to the screen, but you mentioned, I think throwing up in the zone with now that velocity is, the velocity upticks are so prevalent. A lot of guys like to climb the ladder for that third strike, but when guys expect it, you see a lot of home runs, and sometimes they say keep the ball down, but sometimes it's really hard to get to a baseball. As this ball's hit well to right field, it has a chance, and it's gone. A home run for Brett Pearson, a 2-run, 1-out shot, as the Cornbelters take the lead here in the top of the second inning. A 2-run home run as he golfed that one out of here. A high fly ball, and Brett Pearson has a 2-run shot to drive in Drew Mize. A 2-run home run, a 2-1 Cornbelters on top here in the top of the second.
That's just a case of a left-handed hitter dropping the bat head, taking advantage of that short power alley in right center, that short wall. It's only about 325 feet out to that light pole. And a left-handed hitter, if they can get one in the gap, it's got a chance to go.
You mentioned dropping the bat, and he really seemed like he got under that one, almost like an uppercut on that swing. But a nice path through the zone as Palmier works now to Desmond Woods, who grounds it to the left side. Franklin over to first to Cruz, and there's 2 away.
And as a left-handed hitter, most left-handed hitters are low ball hitters just because it's easier for them to drop the bat head, especially when the ball's coming in from a right-handed pitcher. The ball's usually coming in towards you, so it's a little easier for them to turn on those inside pitches when they're facing a right-handed pitcher.
And here comes the Harris Stowe product and St. Mary's High School graduate, Will Menendez. He's pretty familiar with Carshield Field. Playing at St. Mary's, they played a couple games here in the postseason, a Misha State Championship game here at Carshield Field in 2018. He got a couple runs driven in that one as he comes up to the plate with 2 outs in the top of the second. He saws that one off to the right side. Played 12 games, started 6 of them for the Hornets as a freshman this past season. And we've been impressed with his ability to flash the leather this summer at the hot corner where he's playing today. And Jake Berger, the designated hitter, is on deck. We've seen him at third base a little bit as well. The 2-0 pitch to Menendez. And they say he went around as Palmier went to the breaking ball on 2 balls and no strikes. It fooled Menendez. The check swing, but the umpire deemed that he went around on that one. As Brett Pearson this inning gives the Cornbelters the lead with a 2-1, with a 2-run home run to take the lead 2-1. The right-hander Palmier delivers the 3-1 pitch. It chopped away. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. The inning started with a ground out to Brandon Olean. Drew Mize had an infield single. Brett Pearson hit a 2-run home run. Woods then grounded out to the third baseman. Now Menendez is up with a 3-2 count. The pitch. Missed low. He loses Menendez and surrenders his first free pass this evening, trying to get this third out. In the top of the second inning, and a tough out comes to the plate, Jake Berger. Berger already with 4 knocks this summer. We saw him come up in a big-time RBI opportunity in one of his first games here, but playing the hoots, Joe Lincoln decided to walk him, not give him the opportunity to do any damage. His first at-bat in his first appearance since 2017, he knocked a single, and that was a pretty cool moment as they put the shift on the slugger. 3 infielders to the left of second base. As Gage Cruz holds on the runner at first, Will Menendez, who reached on the walk, a ball and a strike. As a White Sox prospect has made some really hard contact already early on this summer. Although 4 singles, he's roped all of them, it seems like. He's gone to right field and then left field 3 times. Left field twice and then up the middle 1 time, then to right field. So he's gone to all fields with his hits. And he's been smoking the baseball, finding that sweet spot on the lumber as he fights that breaking ball off to the right side.
And even on that, he's just fighting that pitch off, but that was a missile down the first base line. Even his foul balls, his miss hits are hard.
You got to love the way he swings the bat. With a ton of authority, he knows how to put the baseball out of the park, hit 22 home runs at Missouri State. And he rips this one to the right side, hits it where nobody is, as Tate Wargo, the second baseman, was playing behind second base. He beats the shift. It probably would have been a hit either way as it was lasered to right field for another knock, his 5th of the summer. And the former first-round draft pick gets on to extend the inning here with 2 outs, runners on first and second for DJ Schmidt, who had a double last time, a hustle double, as he hit it to left field and took the extra bag. A nice job by DJ Schmidt, who was hustling out of the box this morning in the top of the first. He comes up with an RBI opportunity. Already, Cornbelters have 2 runs across in the top of the second with a 2-run shot by Brett Pearson as Palmier tries to get this third out. But the walk and then the single brings up DJ Schmidt with a couple runners on.
DJ Schmidt, he's what you like to call a ball player's ball player. He's going to put together a good at-bat. He's going to hustle. He's going to grind out every single pitch, every single at-bat. Every extra base he can get, he's going to take it, and he'll have a rip when he wants.
Braden Spar stays with it and guns down Menendez. Makes the third out at third base, 2-1. Cornbelters on top. Brett Pearson, 2-run home run. We send it to the bottom of the second. You're watching CCL TV. Tommy Woods, Ryan Malzahn, and Jack Rigoni due up here in the bottom of the second inning. The southpaw toes the rubber. Back out for his second inning of work. He surrendered a leadoff walk to Josh Gibson, who came around to score. But the Cornbelters responded with a 2-run home run by Brett Pearson off Mason Palmier with 1 out. He golfed that ball to the right field bullpen. 2-1 Cornbelters on top as Schrader goes back to the mound, and this time with the lead, facing off against Tommy Woods. Woods, a local product. He tore it up McClure North and then went to Missouri State. And then Jefferson College transferred out of there. He's in a 3-1 count. He draws another walk. Tommy Woods drawing a walk. He does it again, Shane. He leads the team in walks. Does nobody want to pitch to him, or he has a really good eye as well?
I think it's really a combination of both. He's just not swinging at bad pitches. And it could be a case of a pitcher just happens to lose control while he's at the plate. It's a variety of factors. He has a good eye. The pitchers know he can put the ball out of the ballpark. They know how dangerous of a hitter he is. But if he's not getting good pitches to hit, he can't hit the ball.
So the bottom of the second starts like the bottom of the first did, a leadoff walk. And Tommy Woods reaches. The walk in the first, Josh Gibson came around to score on a pass ball by the catcher. Schrader gets a breaking ball in there for a strike against Ryan Malzahn. But I wouldn't want to pitch to Tommy Woods either if I looked at his stat line. The 4-time all-conference standout at McClure North High School. He's still, I believe, looking for a home to play at. He was at Missouri State out of high school, and the 4-time all-conference standout at McClure North, hit .400 with 5 home runs and 34 runs batted in his final campaign there. The number 2 third baseman in the state of Missouri in 18. Malzahn grounds this to the left side. Menendez comes up, stays with it, goes to second to get the lead runner, Tommy Woods, and Malzahn reaches on the fielder's choice.
That's a nice job by Menendez. After he bobbled the baseball, knew he still had time, knew he has a strong enough arm to get it over to second, get the lead runner. If you're going to get an out, try to get the lead runner, and he did just that.
So Woods walks, and then Malzahn grounds out and reaches on the fielder's choice to bring up Jack Gregoni, the speedy center fielder. The Naperville, Illinois native. Formerly at Jefferson College. And we say speed, we mean speed. He was 25 for 25 on stolen base attempts at Jefferson College, clocked at 6'6" in the 60-yard dash. And he made some plays with his arm. How about that, cutting down the go-ahead run, Damian Henderson, in that ball game yesterday. Man, oh man. A couple of great plays from the Gems outfielders. Tyler Fogarty also. The Gems outfielders cut down a couple runners to ultimately help them win the ball game.
That was the difference. 2-run victory. Cut down a couple of runners at the plate. And at the time, Rigoni's was the go-ahead run. It would have been the first run of the game. And if he's safe there, who knows? Maybe the Eagles get something going that inning, score a couple, 2-3 more. That could have changed the tide of that ball game.
So Malzahn at first. Rigoni in the box as he fouls this one away to the right side. Two balls, two strikes, a 2-1. Cornbelter lead here in the bottom of the second. Schrader working in his 4th start this summer. The pitch misses upstairs against Rigoni. So Schrader surrenders a couple walks, runners on first and second with one away, brings up Braden Spar, the catcher. 1 of 4 in this league who catch at SEMO.
And then the first, the leadoff walk, Gibson came around to score. We talk about leadoff walks all the time. More times than not, they come around to score. Albeit this one was retired on the fielder's choice, but nonetheless, still a base runner to lead off the inning, and they still have a couple base runners. So, in essence, still a leadoff walk.
Schrader slips, but he gets a strike. We've seen a couple times that he's fell down on the turf on the mound, but the ball broke into the strike zone for the second strike. A ball and 2 strikes to Braden Spar.
Doesn't always have to be pretty, as long as it's a strike. Just like making it out in the field, doesn't matter how you can get it, as long as you get it. We've seen a lot of pitchers have some trouble. They're not allowing metal cleats on this turf. And as a pitcher, the grip can be a little dicey sometimes, especially if you get some rubber pellets built up in a spot, or a pitcher lands in the same spot over and over and it gets kind of slick. The turf kind of gets matted down. It's almost like you're basically throwing on a carpet with no metal cleats.
Yeah, and it seems like he's having a tough time getting his landing right now. All at bat, he seems like he's pretty frustrated with the way in which he lands on that plant foot. When he's driving down the mound, it seems like he can't get good traction on the artificial surface of the mound. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Braden Spar, the catcher, former Valley Park native. He takes that pitch upstairs. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Braden Spar was a member of the St. Louis Recruits. Select organization. Will stand out at Valley Park. And Spar takes that one for ball 4, so 3 walks, load the bases, and now the 9th spot in the order, Kyle Franklin comes to the plate. Joey Hawkins going to talk to his left-hander. And so 3 walks now have loaded the bases. Kyle Franklin comes to the plate. And what do you got to tell your left-hander now, Shane?
And really, we say it just about every time these pitchers are, you walk a few hitters, you load the bases, but once again, you're only 1 pitch away. Just get yourself a ground ball. That's all you need to do. There's only 1 out. That runner on third doesn't even matter if you can get a ground ball and roll a double play. It really doesn't matter. Just make a pitch. And now we'll go back to the grip thing on the mound. When you're struggling to find your footing, you can be a little tentative. Maybe he's just a little tentative. Maybe he's not landing, not striding out as far as he can, not really driving, maybe a little nervous that he's going to slip. And really that can cause you to slip even more because you're being ultra careful. He just needs to trust in his mechanics, drive down through the baseball. He's missed up in the zone a few times. He just needs to drive down through the baseball, get yourself down in the zone, get a ground ball, get a fastball away, get yourself a ground ball, get out of this inning.
A ball and a strike to the third baseman, Kyle Franklin. Franklin, Fort Zumwalt West High School. Takes that pitch low. He was hitting .350, had 14 hits and 40 tries in the shortened season for Mid-America Nazarene in his junior campaign, but this place right in his backyard, Carshield Field, the O'Fallon native. Very talented middle infielder. He takes the swing and a miss right there. Looks like he shook his head after that one. Feels like he missed a good pitch, but nonetheless, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ben Kowalski looks like he's going down to potentially start stretching and maybe getting loose. As Franklin pops this one to the second baseman, Mize. It hits the runner, Braden Spar, who is on his way to second base, so he'll be retired, but a run will come across. Interesting play. You don't always see that every day. The ball hits the runner, and the runner gets retired.
And that ball was kind of spinning. It kind of kicked back to the right, almost like a nice little golf shot that kind of just spins off to the right. And that cue shot just
But I believe
back. Yeah,
since
the
it
runners
hit him,
have to retreat.
Runners have to
go
return
back
because it's a dead. Is it
it's a
dead
ball?
Once
dead ball.
the batter gets hit,
Yep.
and so Hawkins wanted to clear that up and make sure that was the case.
Yep.
So Franklin will be at first. Braden Spar gets cut down trying to go to second, but the ball gets hit by him on the Franklin ground ball.
Yeah, the base is still loaded, but runners have to go back, so no run scores.
Malzahn at third. Rigoni at second. And Franklin, who just hit the ground ball that hit Braden Spar trying to get from first to second, and ultimately gets retired on that. They call that a dead ball, but that is the second out. Here in a 2-1 ball game, Schrader trying to hold on to the lead. He comes out to the mound with the lead after the Brett Pearson 2-run shot.
And that's fortunate for the Cornbelters as well. A run was going to score had that ball not hit the runner going to second base. So a fortunate turn of events for the Cornbelters, and they stay on top.
Bases loaded. 0-2 count. Josh Gibson grounds this one to the left side. Menendez will go step on third base, so Schrader strands the bases loaded and preserves a 2-1 lead. We send you to the middle innings. Shane Holsey will take care of them. 2-1 ball game. Cornbelters on top.
Reminder, this inning brought to you by Interco Recycling. Our friends at Interco have been recycling non-ferrous industrial metals, batteries, computers, and electronics since 1996. Their 400,000 square foot, 45-acre facility is located on the Illinois side of downtown St. Louis. So if your company has large amounts of scrap metals, batteries, computers, or electronics in need of recycling, you can give Interco Recycling a call at 1-877-258-3601. Or you can visit them on the web at itcscrap.com. Again, that's 1-877-258-3601 or on the web at itcscrap.com. Interco Recycling, Metaltronics recycler since 1996. The first pitch to DJ Schmidt misses for ball one. Schmidt back in the box after Will Menendez was cut down at third base for the final out while Schmidt was at the plate. So he steps back in the box. 2-3-4 for the Cornbelters. Here in the top of the third, Shane Holsey, Will Connerly with you. Charlie Bornoff on the production, as always. Bringing you all the action here on Car Shield Collegiate League TV all summer long. All 90 games live right here on YouTube. If you can't make it out to the ballpark, we hope to see you here. But if you can't, we'll be right here for all 90 games. DJ Schmidt in a 1-2 count against Mason Palmier, and he chops that one foul. Schmidt, a hustle double his last time up on a line drive to left center. So he's 1 for 1. That's now 9 hits and 20 at-bats for DJ Schmidt. And that's inside 2-2, hitting in the second spot in the Cornbelters order.
And last time at the plate, DJ Schmidt had to watch out. He doesn't stand too far on the plate, but Palmier wants to come inside on him.
Got to establish the inside part of the plate.
And sometimes establishing it says, hey, I'm going to come up in your kitchen. You're going to back off the plate a little bit. But DJ Schmidt is someone who doesn't need to stand right on the plate, but he can get to that outside pitch really well. He has really quick hands.
The 2-2. Inside another full count. He reached a full count last time and delivered a double. Can almost pencil in a 5 or 6, maybe 7, 8 pitch at bat when DJ Schmidt is at the plate. Full count offering is looped in the shallow left. Gibson tracks it for out number 1.
You called him a ball player's ball player. I thought that was interesting. Thought that may need a little more explanation now.
He's just the epitome of a ball player. He hustles. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He puts together a good at-bat. He's going to take an extra base, plays solid defense.
He's got some great swag.
He's got it all.
Everything.
Ball player's ball player.
So does this guy at the plate, too.
And he ropes that one into right field. Fogarty near the wall makes the catch. He was shading a little bit towards right center, had to run a long way to get that one. Vance likes to go that way. He likes to work the ball to right center. And he shot that one a little more down the line, and Fogarty had to run a long way to catch it, but he made a nice play near the wall.
A couple of pop-outs and fly-outs. Palmier has been mainly keeping the ball on the ground today, but second time through the order, maybe he'll shift the way he approaches these hitters.
Those are the first 2 fly ball outs, and now he might have another one here. Rigoni, great speed. He tracks that one easily.
Pencil that in.
That ball's not falling when Rigoni's in center field. So 1-2-3, quick top of the third. And we head to the bottom half. Jim's coming to bat, down 2-1 here on Car Shield Collegiate League TV. Tate Wargo leads things off for the Gems, 2-3-4 in their order here in the bottom of the third. It was a quick top of the third for Mason Palmier. 3 fly ball outs. He hadn't had one before that inning, but 3 straight. A pop out and a couple of fly outs, and now Cole Schrader back out for the third inning for the Cornbelters with a 2-1 lead. On the 2-run homer by Brett Pearson is the difference so far. Josh Gibson scored the only run for the Gems back in the first. He was retired for the final out of the second, and Tate Wargo leads things off here in the third. Wargo coming into play today, 2 for 12 on the summer, playing in his 6th ball game. Scored 4 runs. Speedy infielder. From the University of Akron, playing for the Zips in Ohio, as he looks at ball 4 and another leadoff walk. The leadoff hitter in every inning has reached on a walk for the Gems. That's 5 walks surrendered now for Cole Schrader. Only the one has come across to score, Josh Gibson. We saw in between innings, they took a rake to the mound to try to maybe spread apart those pellets a little bit. Maybe create a better landing spot for Schrader. Let's see if that helps him. Fastball command is kind of hit or miss right now with Schrader. What does he need to do to try to get that ball back in the strike zone?
Well, I think right now, taking a minute and talking to your catcher, and it's tough. It's a tough situation, especially since he's already seen the lineup. And I think it's more of a competence thing. I don't know. I don't necessarily know everything about the pitcher and what he does on a consistent basis, but obviously his stuff is at some of the tops of the league with some of the stuff he has, but getting it and taming it into the zone seems like it's been a struggle. It's been a work in progress, and I think he just needs to trust that he can get in the zone. And sometimes, a lot of times when pitchers are struggling with command, they're not trusting their stuff. They're kind of aiming, and they're not just throwing, and they're too focused maybe on their mechanics and not on just throwing a strike and on those external cues opposed to those internal thoughts that you have. Just, hey, focus on the glove, something that you can control, something that's an external focus that, hey, I'll try to throw it through the glove. I'll stay calm and focused. But, I mean, you feel for guys on a mound when he's struggling. I mean, I've had many times, I've seen many pitchers where it's tough to be able to get in the zone, and sometimes it's not your day when you're not completely locked in.
We apologize for that. Lost power on our camera there for a second, but we should be ready to roll now. Gage Cruz at the plate with runners on first and second and nobody out.
As the action in the bullpen picks up a little bit with Kolowski.
So back-to-back walks to begin the inning for Schrader. And now Gage Cruz who hit that grand slam yesterday. With a couple of runners on base, nobody out. Gems threatening here in the third as they trail 2-1, and Schrader continuing to struggle to find the zone.
And you mentioned that, but still in the third inning, he's working with a lead for his team. Although he has surrendered walks to lead off every inning.
He worked around the leadoff walk in the second. The one in the first came around to score. Tate Wargo walked to lead off this inning. He's at second base. Tyler Fogarty at first. 2-0 count to Gage Cruz. And that breaking ball missed high. And you feel for a pitcher. We were both pitchers. You at the high school and college level. I just threw in high school. But when you're struggling to find the zone, you feel for a pitcher because you know he's trying so hard to throw strikes that he can't throw strikes sometimes. You almost try a little bit too hard when you're a pitcher instead of just throwing the ball.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing you ever want to hear from someone. Throw strikes. Oh,
what do you think I'm trying to do?
And yeah, that's a good point that you make. Sometimes it can be really difficult, and sometimes younger pitchers, a lot of times, older pitchers, anybody,
big leaguers struggle with it.
Big leaguers, everybody. I mean, it's a hard thing to do to command the strike zone, and 3 free passes, 7 on the day for him. Sometimes you can learn a lot from these outings. Hey, you can go back and watch the video and say, was something with my mechanics off? What was different from this game from a game when I had command? Mm-hmm. And then you can kind of break down, okay, was it my warm-up routine? Was it how I felt in the bullpen? Was it actually what I was doing on the mound? What was I thinking on the mound? What was the difference between the pitches that I would spot up on the black and the pitches that I would spike or the bad misses? And how can I eliminate some more of those bad misses and be more competitive? Because if I'm Cole Schrader, I know I have great stuff. I know that your stuff is really hard to hit, and if he can tame that and learn how he can consistently quell that into the zone, he's going to be good. And that's what you have to do from these experiences. You have to learn from him, and he exits the mound, but keep your head high. He's out here competing, and as we mentioned, didn't play as senior, and then either at Missouri State, it's been a couple years. Getting that consistent command will come for the young left-hander, but
and hopefully we'll see him plenty of times throughout this summer. Hopefully he can get things under control his next few outings. We'll have a new arm to tell you about for the Cornbelters. We'll take a break. We'll be back with you. We'll tell about the new arm for the Cornbelters. Bases loaded, nobody out here in the third. So bases loaded, nobody out. Cole Schrader gives way to Ben Kowalski, making his 5th appearance. Last time we saw him was last Sunday against the Eagles, 4 2/3. He worked in that ball game, couple of earned runs. Even 3 ERA on the summer for him, and 11 2/3. Struck out 9, walked 7, 14 hits, 5 earned runs given up in those 11 2/3 innings. Tough situation for him. About the biggest predicament you could put a reliever in. Bases loaded, nobody out.
You ever come in one of these?
Oh, I don't remember any specific instances, but I'm sure at some point.
And you feel it for it because, hey, you want to pick up your teammates too. You know those are kind of his runs, and you want to pick up your teammate. You know what I'm saying? They don't – pitchers, we don't care, okay, that's his earned runs. I know that's what the stats say, but, hey, no, you trying to pick up your teammates in these situations.
And I'm sure for me it was more I gave up the bases loaded and had to turn it over to somebody to try to clean my mess up.
I did it all the time. I said, hey, I don't have it today. I'm going to give it to you, buddy.
see if you can figure it out. I worked us into this mess. See if you can dig us out of it.
I created this problem, but, hey, go to the bullpen, coach, because I don't have it today. But, no, I think that when you come in as a pitcher in these situations, it's so important to be, hey, and hitters have this too. Okay, you ground out with a guy on third base or guy in second and third, and you just can't execute. Okay, hey, pick me up with 2 outs, and that's kind of like this for the pitcher. It's, hey, kind of try to pick me up here.
Kowalski here in a 2-2 count against Tommy Woods. Woods walked his first time up. Was retired at second base. Two offering coming from Ben Kowalski. Outside. Full count. Nowhere to put Woods. Bases full of Gems. Cruz at first. Fogarty at second. Wargo at first. All reached via the free pass. 3-2 count to Tommy Woods. Chop foul. I'm sure Woods wouldn't mind another base on balls here. Would tie the game if he can look at ball 4 here, but I'm sure he's trying to put a ball in the gap. They're kind of shading him more towards right center. Big gap in left center. 3-2 from Kowalski. Outside. And 4 straight walks have brought in the second run of the game for the Gems and has tied the game at 2.
Another walk for Tommy Woods. He racks up the quality at bats, but that's a great team at bat. Hey, don't get yourself out. Don't try to do too much. Execute whatever way you can. And he ties the ball game up with the walk and the run batted in.
That's now 13 walks in 30 plate appearances for Tommy Woods. Only hitting 125, but he's getting on base more than half the time. 13 walks to 8 strikeouts. So give him an RBI as well. That's his 4th RBI. So Wargo comes across to score to tie the game, and 4 straight walks have brought in the Gems' second run. And everybody moves up a base, still with nobody out. And Ryan Malzahn swings and misses at strike 2.
And Malzahn was ranked as the 9th best outfielder recruit in Missouri. He's taking his talents to seem a very talented young ball player.
Trying to come through here with nobody out. Bases loaded. 1-2 count. The 1-2 from Ben Kowalski. Outside corner, a generous called third strike, and Malzahn heads back to the dugout.
They're playing a little music, and DJ Schmidt was getting hyped in center field. He was pumping his arms up. I think he'd rather play with some music going on.
I wouldn't imagine so.
But Malzahn, that's a tough strike 3 call, but hey, sometimes that's how it goes. They'll ring you up on one that's a little bit outside.
And Kowalski will certainly take it. Now a double play can get him out of the inning and keep the ball game tied. It's going to be tough to turn one against Rigoni. It's going to have to be hit very hard. Jack Rigoni flies out of the right-handed batter's box. Got a first pitch strike, the 0-1. 0-2. Kowalski trying to work out of a bases-loaded jam here in the 3rd. He walked in a run, but trying to keep the ball game tied. 7 free passes for Cole Schrader. 3 of them this inning loaded the bases. And that's popped up into foul territory. Vance near the Gems dugout, and he makes the catch. Another 5 feet or so less of foul territory, and that's in the stands.
P3, baby.
What do we call that here in the press box?
A Kiesel.
A Kiesel.
Oh, we call it Forrest Herman's squad and Josh Kiesel's squad. Got a lot of guys that train at P3 anytime they pop out to third baseman. We need to see if they want to sponsor that. A pop out to the third baseman. Not an exciting play, but to the first baseman, rather, the P3, but not sponsored by. What would you think,
That
Shane?
pop out brought to you by Premier Pitching and Performance.
P3. Hey, we're plugging them without even being sponsors right now.
That's free advertising right there. 0-1 count to Braden Spar. And Kowalski 1 out away from getting out of it. That's looped into left center. That's a base hit. The Gems will take the lead. 2 runs will score. Woods heading over to third. He takes the extra bag. And a 2-out, 2 RBI base hit by Braden Spar puts the Gems ahead 4-2.
Big time by Spar right there. I mean, ultimately, you knew that it would be a lost inning if they didn't execute more than just 1 run with the bases loaded and nobody out. After 4 straight walks to start the inning, they get the walk. Okay, it came in on a run scored, but they punch him with a couple guys on base there with Spar getting a nice knock and 2 runs batted in. Up by a couple runs now, taking back the lead like they had back in the first.
Now a 2-run lead, and now the 9th place hitter, Kyle Franklin, with runners on the corners, still a chance to do some more damage.
4 runs have scored for the Gems, and all 4 of those runners reached on the free pass.
And the keys to the game that we talked about early in this ball game have come back to bite the Cornbelters. A lot of walks, and 4 of those have come across to score. And that's popped up. Might have another Kiesel as Vance puts that one away in foul territory. So the Gems tally 3 here in the third, and they take a 4-2 lead on the base hit by Braden Spar. And we head to the fourth. Cornbelters coming to bat, trailing 4-2. Brandon Olean will lead things off here for the Cornbelters, now trailing 4-2. The last time they came to the plate, they were ahead 2-1. Now 4-2, a 3-run third inning for the Gems. And Mason Palmier back out there for the 4th inning. Now with a 4-2 lead. 5, 6, and 7 for the Cornbelters as that's skied into shallow right field. And now drifting back on the infield, Tate Wargo puts it away for the first out. So Olean now 0 for 2, and that brings in Drew Mize. So 4 straight walks brought in the first run for the Gems. And then a strikeout and a pop out, and then a 2-out, 2 RBI base hit by Braden Spar brought in the next 2, so a 3-run third inning. And the Gems are now on top, 4-2, looking to get back to 500 at 4-5 coming into play. Cornbelters 6-4-1, trying to keep things rolling. Cornbelters trying to win their 4th straight. They've won 3 straight coming into play as Mize chops that one out to second. Josh Gibson a strike on to Gage Cruz for the second out. So a couple of quick outs for Paul Meir. Fourth ground ball out for Mason Palmier, and now Brett Pearson, who took Palmier deep his first time up with Drew Mize on base. Those have been the only 2 runs for the Cornbelters, a 2-run homer by Brett Pearson. Playing shortstop. We've seen him in the outfield. We've seen him at second base. We've seen him all over the diamond. And that's chopped to the right side. Another 1-2-3 inning for Mason Palmier. And we head to the bottom of the 4th. Gems lead it 4-2. They'll look to add on as they come to bat in the bottom half. We're halfway done here in Game 1 on Carshield Collegiate League TV. We're halfway through here in Game 1 of 3 here on a beautiful Tuesday for baseball. Some clouds and sun mix. Sun out currently, and the sun is out for the Gems right now, a 4-2 lead as Josh Gibson will lead things off. Top of the Gems order, Gibson, Wargo, and Fogarty. 8 Gems came to the plate. Gibson, rather, was the only one that didn't come to the plate in the 3rd, as they scored 3 runs on 4 walks and a base hit. And Ben Kowalski fires strike 1 past Gibson. Gibson walked, stole a base, and scored a run in the 1st. Grounded into a fielder's choice to Will Menendez in the 2nd, 0 for 1 out of the leadoff spot for the Jeffco infielder. Gibson coming into this ball game, solid start, hitting over 300, 8 for 26. With the 1 home run, 4 driven in as he pops that one on the infield. Drew Mize puts it away for out number 1. So Gibson now 0 for 2, and now Tate Wargo, who got things started in the third with a leadoff walk, came across to score. It was 4 straight walks to begin the inning for Schrader. All 4 of those runs the Gems have scored are charged to Schrader with 7 free passes. So he's currently on the hook for the loss, unless the Cornbelters have some magic in the late innings. There's a breaking ball just a bit high. To Tate Wargo, the Akron Zip. Primarily plays third base for Akron. Playing second base here this afternoon, hitting second in Justin Paulson's order. Wargo spent a couple of seasons at Lewis and Clark Community College. Led the team in 2017 with a .319 batting line. 9 starts at third base for the Zips this spring. So familiar wearing these blue and gold colors with Akron. A 3-1 count. Kowalski came in and walked the first batter he faced, which was Tommy Woods. That brought in a run. And then got a strikeout and a pop out, and then the base hit by Spar. So 1 1/3 innings of work so far for Kowalski in a 3-2 count to Tate Wargo. None of those runs charged to Kowalski, of course.
But he did a good job of limiting the damage coming in with the bases loaded and nobody out.
Looking for a smooth 4th inning here. The 3-2 to Wargo. Chop to Menendez at third. Goes into a slide and fires the first. Wargo sliding head first, and he's out.
That was close. That was a great play by Menendez. We've seen him have some great plays that summer. That's another one to stay with it right there.
He's been rock solid over there at third base for the Cornbelters. And on that slide, he kind of just slid to get himself into a good position to kind of get his momentum back going in the right direction. And Wargo sliding head first, not something you see all that often. Usually you're taught to slide head first only if the throw is going to be high, but Wargo felt that was the best means to get to first base. A very, very close play. Bang, bang play at first base, and the call goes the Cornbelters' way. So Kowalski's retired the first couple of hitters. And now Tyler Fogarty with two out and nobody on, trying to get something started with 2 away for the Gems and see if they can add on to their 4-2 lead. Gage Cruz is on deck. And Fogarty skies that one a mile high down the left field line and foul. That ball just now landed out near the playground, the basketball courts down the left field line. Just past those high top tent suites down there. 2-1 count to Tyler Fogarty. Now 3-1. Fogarty, former Chaminade Red Devil. Originally committed to play at Notre Dame, now a SLU Billiken. And he pops that one foul and out of play. So another full count here for Kowalski to deal with. He got Wargo to ground out to third base. See what he does here with Fogarty. The payoff pitch. Rope foul down the left field line. Heads up. Thank goodness for that netting over the dugout. Yep. Another 3-2 coming from Kowalski. Pop foul again. We'll try it once more. So a good at bat here for Fogarty. Pitch number 8 coming up. Working a solid 2-out at bat. And he works a 2-out walk and extends the inning to Gage Cruz. Second time Fogarty has reached via the free pass. So now 9 free passes for the Cornbelters. On the day so far, 4 of them have come across to score. All 4 runs. Reach base via the walk. And now Gage Cruz with an opportunity to do some 2-out damage. Looking for his 3rd home run in as many days. He's got 3 on the summer so far, and 2 have come in the last couple of games. A big swing and a miss from the Western Illinois Leatherneck. Never gets cheated up there at the plate. He's going to get off his A swing, especially with the short power alley here at Carshield Field. For a left-handed hitter, he can afford to take some big swings. Kowalski trying to work around the 2-out walk. Second walk issued by Kowalski in an inning and 2/3. And now has to deal with Gage Cruz with the runner on base. And he lifts that one into shallow left. Olean coming in, and he puts it away for out number 3, so no damage done after the 2-out walk. And Kowalski works a scoreless 4th. We head to the 5th. Cornbelters coming to bat, 4-2 Gems. New arm for the Gems here in the 5th. It's the right-hander out of Harris Stowe, Alex Williams. We've seen Williams a few times here this summer. This is his 5th appearance. He's worked 5 2/3 so far this summer. And Desmond Woods pops that pitch out of play for strike 1. Williams, a two-way player at Harris Stowe. Started 14 games. Played in 22 overall. Tossed 8 1/3 innings on the mound, as well as had 30 at-bats at the plate. 6 for 30 line at the plate. Alex Williams, haven't seen him at the plate so far this summer, working just off the rubber. And he takes the ball here in the 5th inning, trying to preserve a 4-2 lead, and that's hit softly up the middle. Gibson fires on the first for out number 1.
Nifty play there by the shortstop. Coming running to get that ball, making a running throw. As the ball wasn't hit very hard, he had to get on the hop, get it out of the glove quickly. Good play right there up the middle by the shortstop, taking charge and getting a runner who moves very well down the line, Desmond Woods. Nifty first out here in the 5th.
So Palmier works 4 innings. Comes out with a 4-2 lead. And gives way to Alex Williams. The final line on Mr. Palmier. 4 innings, 67 pitches. 63% of those for strikes, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 strikeouts, and 1 walk. And the 1 home run accounting for both runs for the Cornbelters off the bat of Brett Pearson.
Really the only blemish of his night, of his start. I mean, just that golfed home run that we saw by Brett Pearson. He uppercut that one, hit it to the bullpen, but it was easy going for Palmier. He surrendered a double to DJ Schmidt in the first, worked around it, and had a couple clean innings after that home run he led up in the second. Good job.
And that gets past Williams out to second. Tate Wargo on the first. Couple of ground outs to get things started for Alex Williams. Both middle infielders have here this inning. And now Williams will have to deal with Jake Berger with 2 outs and nobody on. If you're going to deal with them, this is the situation you want to do it in, especially with a 2-run lead. You can afford to be aggressive. Gage Cruz, the lone player on the right side of the infield for Jake Berger. Second baseman Tate Wargo playing directly behind the second base bag. Kyle Franklin just a couple steps off the line at third base. Gibson deep in the hole at short. And a big breaking ball from Williams misses down for ball 2, 2-0. Berger had a base hit his last time up, 1 for 2 on his day. 5th hit on the summer for Mr. Berger. All of them have been singles. Haven't quite seen that big power, but we've seen some hard hit balls.
And he has to feel good consistently being at the top of the lineup for Joey Hawkins. As we mentioned, a couple injuries the past 2 seasons has sidelined him. He's a guy who had been in spring training with the White Sox, and it's fun to see him swing the bat with authority.
Williams working almost exclusively with breaking balls here. We mentioned it yesterday. Berger probably going to see his fair dose of off-speed pitches. Pitchers certainly don't want to give him a good fastball to hit because they know the damage he can do. 3-1 from Williams. Popped up on the infield. The lone man on the right side of the infield, Gage Cruz, puts it away. A 1-2-3 inning for Alex Williams. And we head to the bottom of the 5th. Gems coming to bat on top, 4-2 on Carshill Collegiate League TV. Braden Bone is the third pitcher out there for the Cornbelters. 4-2 Gems lead as we play here in the bottom of the fifth. Tommy Woods will get things started. Ryan Malzahn and Jack Rigoni to follow. 5-6-7 against Mr. Bone, making his fourth appearance. Last time we saw him last Friday against the Hoots, worked an inning in the third scoreless. Just one earned run given up and 4 1/3 so far for Mr. Bone. Right-hander out of SIUE, several SIUE arms. Bone along with his teammate Rob Parks, both prominent members of the SIUE bullpen. They'll face Tommy Woods here to lead things off, a 2-0 count. Woods has walked both times he's been at the plate. The last one was a bases loaded walk that tied the ball game at 2. And now a 2-2 count. Tommy's younger brother Desmond playing right field. The 2-2. Another 3-ball count here to Tommy Woods. Does Bone challenge him here? 3-2. He does, and blows the fastball right by him. 1 away here in the bottom of the fifth. And now Ryan Malzahn 0 for 2 on the ball game so far, hitting to a fielder's choice. And struck out. 1 away, nobody on. Approaching 1:30 p.m. Central Time here at Carshield Field. Started about 10 minutes early, just before noon, about 11:50. Some threat of some rain this afternoon. Some more of those pop-up thunderstorms might be moving in the area later today. We have a doubleheader this evening at 5:30. Hopefully the rain stays away. We can get all 3 games in. Seems like almost every day the last few days we've had some threat of rain. Looks like towards the end of this week it'll start to clear up a little bit. Clear skies for now. The rain could be on its way this afternoon. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can get all 3 of these games in. We've had a couple of postponements the last couple days. Two and 2 count here to Ryan Malzahn, and a swing and a miss. Couple of strikeouts for Bone as Cook fires on to Vance. 2 up, 2 down here in the fifth. Couple of strikeouts for Braden Bone.
Good work by Bone here out of the bullpen. Schrader win a couple, Kowalski win a couple, and now Bone in the fifth. Trying to keep things where they are.
We've seen some late inning magic, so any insurance runs the Gems can get would be huge as we head into the late innings. Bone trying to prevent that from happening. And now Jack Rigoni with 2 away and nobody on. He chops that one to Menendez at third. And a strong throw over to first, a 1-2-3 fifth. We send things to the sixth, then we send things to Will Connell. He'll handle the last couple of innings for you here in game 1. 4-2 Gems as we head to the sixth here on Carshield Collegiate League TV.
Just a reminder, this innings brought to you by Interco Recycling. Interco's been recycling non-ferrous industrial metals, batteries, computers, and electronics since 1996. The company operates a 400,000 square foot, 45-acre facility on the Illinois side of downtown St. Louis. If your company has large amounts of scrap metals, batteries, computers, or electronics to recycle, you can call Interco Recycling at 1-877-258-3601 or on the web at www.itcscrap.com. Interco Recycling, a Mellotronics recycler since 1996. 2-3-4, DJ Schmidt, Kyle Vance, and Josh Cook to start off the top of the sixth inning. A 4-2 Gems lead as Alex Williams works in his second inning of relief after Mason Palmier went 4 innings, surrendering 4 hits and 2 earned just on the Brett Pearson 2-run shot. And 67 pitches in those 4 innings, 63% strikes for the right-hander, just surrendering 1 walk. Good command of the zone today. Again, just that 2-run home run, the only really blemish on his outing. Just a scattered 4 hits besides that. And the first pitch from Williams is a ball to DJ Schmidt, who led off the top of the first with a double after Jake Berger struck out. DJ Schmidt got in scoring position, but ultimately didn't score in that first inning. A ball and a strike here in the top of the sixth. DJ Schmidt has that red, white, and blue face mask that all the players wear around their neck, and then when they're within 6 feet of each other, I believe the protocol is that they will pull the mask up. It's that Nike dry fit, like you have those T-shirts. It's that material, that fabric that's on the players around their necks, and then they can just pull it up. Players are allowed to use their own, or they can use the ones provided by the Car Shield Collegiate League. And then when the players are in the dugout, or coaches, they bring the masks up, and they've put in some social distancing guidelines, obviously, with the fans, and they make them spread out between other families, a handful of seats apart from each other and multiple rows from each other, to be able to maintain all the safety protocols set forth by the counties and all the guidelines that they need to follow to be able to participate in baseball in a safe and effective manner. As DJ Schmidt gets belted by the pitch, but umpire says, no, 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 stay here, sir, as he says he leaned into it. And so DJ Schmidt, who gets hit by the pitch, tells him to stay in the box, says he leaned into that one. Stay here, buddy, 2-2 count.
Yeah, he's going to try to get on base any way he can, but that one, don't see that rule enforced very often, but pretty obvious there.
And so Williams working to DJ Schmidt here to lead off the top of the sixth. The pitch. Schmidt pops it up towards the third baseman, Kyle Franklin, who comes up and catches it right by the bag for the first out.
So he thought he had himself a hit by pitch, and then he's got a pop out. I guess karma's real.
Well, he leaned into it a little bit, trying to get on base. He says, and the thing is, he got hit by the pitch, but he didn't earn the bag. Usually you get the 90 feet, but can't lean into it. They've started to enforce that a little more the past couple years because of hitters trying to lean into stuff to do that. And that one, like you mentioned, just stuck the shoulder in there. And, hey, call him back, buddy, as Kyle Vance comes to the plate. 0-1 count. Alex Williams here in his second inning of relief, relieving Mason Palmier, the starting pitcher. Williams, a Harris Stowe Hornet. But the Missouri Baptist Spartan had a nice day on the mound, and he's been a really good pitcher, a big part of that pitching staff at Missouri Baptist, and he has a bright future still with the Spartans this coming spring. A 1-ball, 1-strike count to the Tiffin University standout, Kyle Vance. A powerful Division II Kyle Vance plays at. He was before this at Holt High School. Jefferson College is where he spent time. He's 6 foot, 190 pounds, was in his redshirt senior year. Him and guys like Drake Salzman, who are already in their redshirt senior year, kind of stuck with that decision. You're already in your second senior season. You're still going to continue to play as Vance lasers this one towards center. This one's going to get behind Rigoni and behind the wall for a ground rule double. As Vance is on second, another extra base hit for the former all-conference standout and Jefferson College slugger, who's now at Tiffin, and tears the cover off the baseball, hitting about 400 this past spring, and he hasn't slowed down just one bit.
He's hit everywhere he's gone. He's hit in high school, hit in college, hit at Jefferson College. He's hit at Tiffin. He's hit here in the Carlsbad Collegiate League. He just tears the cover off the baseball wherever he goes, and that is Kyle Vance to a T right there on that last double. Just driving the ball into right center, taking your extra base hit. Doesn't try to do anything too fancy. Stays up the middle the other way, and he has enough strength to muscle the ball out of the ballpark if he gets underneath one just a little bit. But just a nice line drive swing, takes the ball the other way with authority.
And he uses the whole field as Gibson collides with Franklin, the third baseman. It seemed like a middle miscommunication as Gibson's glasses came off during the collision. Rather, Franklin's glasses went to the turf. Notch it an infield single, but Josh Gibson collected up the baseball after the two collided with each other, as that's kind of that 50-50 ball right in between the third baseman and the second baseman and the shortstop, and they both collided with each other, and it results in a infield single by Josh Cook, so runners at the corners and just one away.
Usually if the third baseman, the rule of thumb is if the third baseman can get to it, it's his ball. But that one was kind of in the gray area where Franklin maybe wasn't sure he could get to it, so he didn't want to call off Gibson. We talk about on those pop-ups, the pop-ups hit shallowly in the outfield. The communication there, a ball hit in the gap, the communication between outfielders. But it's just as important there on a ground ball that's kind of in between two infielders. It's a similar line of communication. I got it, ball, ball, ball. And it happens a lot quicker on a ground ball, but it still has to happen.
Now coming to the plate, the Centennial High School graduate and Champaign, Illinois native, Brandon Olean. He grounds this one to the first baseman, Gage Cruz, going for one, but can't get two, and a run comes around to score.
Oh, they're calling interference.
They call interference, so both runners are out. Wash that run off the scoreboard that we said. Josh Cook doesn't like the call, but they call interference. Both runners are out. We send it to the bottom of the sixth, 4-2. Gems on top. Call to the bullpen. Joey Hawkins goes to Rob Parks, and Rob Parks in 9 innings of work so far this summer, 17 strikeouts. Here making his 6th appearance He has surrendered 10 hits in 9 innings, but just 2 earned runs, has a minuscule earned run average of just 1.56. And again, 17 strikeouts in 9 innings of work. Last time out went .2 innings and got 2 strikeouts against the Hoots on Friday. Prior to that, he threw last Tuesday and had 4 strikeouts in 2 1/3. And he gets ahead, gets the strikeouts in 9 innings, just a 1.56 earned run average and 17 Ks as the left-hander has had an interesting career. He transferred to the Division I level, and he's been doing well so far this summer as he faces 8-9-1 Braden Spar with another rip to center field. And he's going to get around for multiple bases as the ball gets behind DJ Schmidt. Spar rounding second but pumps the brakes, and he'll get here with a leadoff double. So Spar been on base 3 times today, had the 2 RBI single in the 3rd, and now a double here in the 6th.
Swinging the bat well out of the 8-hole, one of those 4 Southeast Missouri State catchers in this league. The Stouse brothers and Andrew Keck, all backstops for the SEMO Redhawks.
And Rob Parks getting a lot of use from Joey Hawkins, and he got a lot of use out of the pen, led the team with 7 appearances out of the pen at SIUE. Stands 6'2", 185 pounds, was in his senior campaign. Great fastball. He likes to climb the ladder, offers good deception. It feels like the baseball just gets up on guys and they can't really pick it up. It comes right out of his ear, and he just lets it eat at a 3/4 arm slot, which really helps the deception from the left side. And that's why that perceived velocity on Rob Parks is much higher. And that's why you see through 9 innings of work and 5 appearances this summer, he's struck out 17 hitters.
Another thing about his delivery that contributes to that perceived velocity, the hitter doesn't pick up the baseball until it's out of his hand. It comes straight out of his glove. It's not really, you see some pitchers will have more of a loopy arm slot, or loopy arm motion. They kind of bring it down and out of their glove and up over the top. Parks just brings it out, just goes down for a second, then straight to his ear and then straight out. A hitter doesn't pick it up until it's virtually out of his hand.
Parks works just from the first base side of the rubber as a left-hander. That bodes well for good deception as this ball is laced to center field, but DJ Schmidt catches it for the first out. Played at St. Mary's High School. He wrestled and played hockey, a 3-sport star at St. Mary's. Had 11 starts in high school, a 2.29 earned run average, and was a starter at Lindenwood Belleville as well. He struck out 44 hitters and only walked 17 in 52 innings at Lindenwood Belleville. Led the team at SIUE out of the bullpen, finished with 11 strikeouts and 4 walks. He struck out 2 hitters in 5 of his 7 appearances, so coming into the CCL, we knew this summer that he would be a big-time arm out of the bullpen like he was at SIUE. He throws the ball in there to Gibson, who fouls it back, and Parks is someone, when you look at his arm action, it's clean, efficient, tight, coming from the 3-4 slot. These right-handers seem like they really struggle to pick him up as well, and obviously he offers great deception to lefties working from the first base side of the rubber as DJ Schmidt catches the second out. And with these lefties, the ball's really just, he's releasing him at their head from the first base side of the rubber, but righties in the bottom of this Gems order as you go back to the top. And Josh Gibson, who just flew out, and then now Tate Wargo, the 2-hole up. The 2 away as Rob Parks is looking to work around a leadoff double here in the bottom of the 6th. The pitch is in there for a strike. Gems up 4-2, but they know they need more against these old Cornbelters. Their last chance coming up next half inning. Tate Wargo gets rung up. Rob Parks gets himself another strikeout. He's been tearing it up this summer, stranding the leadoff double. 4-2. Gems on top. Final shot coming up for the Cornbelters. This inning's brought to you by Interco Recycling. Interco's been recycling non-ferrous industrial metals, batteries, computers, and electronics since 1996. They have a 400,000 square foot, 45-acre facility on the Illinois side of downtown St. Louis. So if you or your company has large amounts of scrap metals, batteries, or electronics, they need to recycle them, Shane, they can just call Interco Recycling. 1-877-258-3601. Or just go over to that browser. We know you're watching YouTube right now. Open that new tab and type in www.itcscrap.com. Interco Recycling, a Mellotronics recycler since when, Shane?
96.
96. There we go, as we see Adam Drury on the mound. And he'll face Drew Mize, Brett Pearson, and Desmond Woods. 6, 7, and 8. Final shot for the Cornbelters, trailing by a couple runs. Mason Palmier started things off for the Gems. Alex Williams win a couple of scoreless innings, and now they hand it off to Adam Drury. Adam Drury threw yesterday, had one inning and got the save against the Eagles. Can he get the save again? He's thrown 6 1/3 this summer. He's had 7 strikeouts, no walks, and a 4.42 ERA. He's 1 for 1 in save opportunities, and Justin Paulson trying to make that 2 for 2 as he goes to the closer once again, making his 5th appearance this summer. It's this ball to the right side, throwing on no day's rest, but just the one inning yesterday. And got through it pretty stress-free. Had 2 strikeouts. And he does a good job. He won't get a ton of strikeouts, but this summer in 6 1/3, he has K'd 7 and walked none. And you like to see that out of a reliever, not getting things to be too stressful. As Drew Mize leads things off. Here in the final shot for the Cornbelters. And he gets rung up. They throw it around the horn. Mize walks back to the dugout looking as Brett Pearson now comes to the plate. Mize did single in the second, then come around to score because of this guy at the plate in the second inning, Brett Pearson, who hit a home run. As Adam Drury strikes out the first hitter he sees. Drew Mize, Pearson comes up. Has accounted for the only Cornbelter runs today. Can he start that trend and keep it going in the 7th, continuing that, as they only have a couple runs today from a 2-run shot from the bat of this man, Brett Pearson. He takes a strike, a ball, and a strike. Adam Drury trying to get the save for the 2nd consecutive day. And Pearson And the Cornbelter Company trying to thicken that plot of these wild 7th innings. This ball is popped toward the third baseman, Kyle Franklin, a P5. So 2 away here in the 7th. And the final shot comes down to Desmond Woods. Desmond Woods, a couple groundouts today. And he faces Adam Drury, who's got a couple quick outs in the Cornbelter final shot. Here in the top of the 7th, they trail 4-2. The 2 runs they've scored today were just on Brett Pearson's 2-run home run. As Woods grounds this one to the left side, Kyle Franklin throws it over to Cruz at first, scoops it up, and the Gems win it. Back-to-back days, Adam Drury shuts the door and gets another save. Gems win it. We'll be back with you later tonight. 5:30 doubleheader action coming up on Car Shield Collegiate League TV. It'll be the Falcons and the Eagles, and then the Cavemen and the Hoots to follow. All 6 teams in action, so stay tuned with us and stay updated. See you back at 5:30. For Chucky B and Shane Hosey, I'm Will Connerly on CCL TV.